It doesn't matter, and I'm a firm believer in this. It doesn't matter the menu that you're using. What matters, seriously, is the person behind the menu. Drop the pitch, okay? Drop the verbal vomit. These products do one thing. I want you to think about this. I want this to set in. I share this concept and I coach on this all the time. And I see F&I managers increase their production sometimes twofold. Rather than give a whole dissertation of what these products do, simply tell the customer it pays for this and it pays for that. I'm going to share with you my thoughts on a presentation in the next slide. But remember, sales pitches, I guess they work sometimes, but what I'm about to share with you, I really believe works a lot better. So let's tone it down a little bit, and here we go. So I like to have only 3 columns. I'm not a fan of the 4-column menu. I started selling, I was a step salesman, step selling in my office. And then we moved into, I worked for David Lewis for a number of years, and I became I started doing flip charts. And then after I did the flip charts, I went to AutoNation. I spent 9 years with AutoNation, ran the Florida region for 5 of those years. And then I learned how to use a 4-column menu. And it was the JM&A process. The introduction. Hi, my name's Gerry Gould. Congratulations on purchasing a new car. That's a great choice. I have 3 responsibilities: review your paperwork, go over your payment options, answer any questions that you may have. Do you mind if I join you? And everything was required to be done on the showroom floor. And then I went to work for a large agency in Florida. I became the director of training. That's where I started to do the tips of the week on F&I magazine. I hooked up with people like Damien and Jared and so on and so forth. And that's when my career really started to take off. And was still going with a 4-column menu, but it was a field goal type menu. We changed the terms in each column. And then I went on my own in 2017. So I've been doing this, and then we hooked up 4 years ago, as I mentioned. It's our anniversary. 4 years of doing this product prep stuff. We've had a great time. But when I went on my own, I said to myself, I don't have to do an interview on the showroom floor. I can do it in the F&I office, save time with the customer, because there's a sense of urgency. I want to lower customers' apprehensions. I want to lower their resistance. All I got to do is go out and meet them on the showroom floor, call them on the phone, introduce myself, and then give them F&I awareness before they get into the office, and then just go through a menu presentation. That's my take on the menu. I like to call the first column a worry-free column. And in my mind, the only column that matters on a menu is the first column. And I list all the products individually on the first column. And then I go to the second column, which is the practical column. And for those of you using Darwin or have the opportunity to only use 2 columns, stop there. Just use 2 columns, the driver's needs analysis. And I'll explain to you what I mean in just a moment. And then the third column is nothing more than the core, basic coverages. And then I learned this from an F&I manager a couple years ago. He puts a shopping cart instead of he leaves that third column blank, and he lets the customer decide what they want. I'm going to show you how that works in just a moment. But let me just give you my take on a presentation. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, before I print the final paperwork, I'd like to review the figures with you one more time. And then I review the figures. These are the figures you agreed to on the showroom floor. That's the sale price. That's the payment. That's the interest rate, down payment, trade allowance, trade payoff. There's 2 payments here. There's a 72-month payment and a 76-month payment. You've got up to 84 months to pay for this vehicle. You've chosen to go 72 months, wise choice. But if you'd like, I can extend the term to as much as 76 months, because I always want to have dual payments on the menu. Even if the customer comes in at 84 months, I want to show them a 72-month payment, because I know how the sale was manufactured. The sales assistant said to the customer how much you want to spend a month. And every customer in the country is saying $350 a month. How much you want to put down? 0 money down. And that's where the desk started the deal. Rather than start the deal at full list or a small discount and tell the customer how they got to get to the payment they want. That's a webinar for another discussion, but you'll find that webinar on product prep. So, worry-free. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, before I print the final paperwork, I'd like to review the figures with you one more time. The first column I like to call a worry-free column, and I want you to know you can take delivery of the vehicle, the figures you agreed to. That's very important to share with the customer. Kind of lets them off the hook, lowers their apprehensions of, oh, you're going to try to sell me something. No, I'm just going to go through the options that are available to you, because these are your options. These aren't my options. These aren't protection packages. These are options, programs, plans. The vehicle service contract pays for all mechanical electrical breakdowns for 5 years, 75,000 miles. There is a $100 deductible, but you do get rental car towing, roadside assistance, and trip interruption. Tire and wheel will pay for damage to your tires and wheels when damaged by a road hazard. The road hazard is anything that shouldn't be in the road, a pothole, glass, nail, even curb damage, all right, railroad ties, okay? There's a cosmetic clause in there, so if the tire or wheel should inadvertently rub against the curb, they'll make an attempt to buff out the tire. If the tire is unable to hold air on the rim, they'll replace the rims over the next 5 years. Key replacement will repair to reprogram, replace, or repair your keys should they become lost, stolen, or broken. There's a lockout service for your home and your car, and there's it will pay for whatever you have in the program. I'm losing my mind here. Prepaid maintenance is set up for every 5,000 miles. Simply bring the vehicle back to any one of our dealerships in the area. They'll do an oil change, filter change, top off the fluids, 20-point vehicle inspection. Every second oil change, they'll do a tire rotation, and it'll give you free one set of wiper blades, whatever your maintenance program does. Paint and fabric, the only thing that really protects the vehicle. It protects the vehicle against the elements, acid rain, bird droppings, tree sap, industrial fallout. Will protect the interior against any water, oil-based stain, all the leather, cloth, and vinyl surfaces. Any rips, tears, or burns, minor rips, tears, or burns will be repaired. The paintless dent removal will pay to have a technician with specialized tools to go out to your home or office and remove those minor dings or dents that may occur when in a parking lot or from some disrespectful person parking too close to you. And then there's windshield coverage. The windshield coverage will pay to have a technician come out and repair those minor chips or cracks that may occur while you're driving in the vehicle over the next 5 years. Theft will pay you a monetary benefit of up to $5,000 should the vehicle be stolen, not recovered, or deemed a total loss. And then guaranteed asset protection will pay the difference between what your insurance company says the vehicle's worth and what you owe. That difference will be paid, and you won't have to worry about your deductible because they'll pay your deductible up to $1,000 as well. So the worry-free column, those would be your payments. There's a 72-month and a 76-month payment. Do you have any questions about the worry-free before I move to the practical? Now, if the customer has questions, then I would answer their questions. I'd stop there, sell them something, and I'm done. But I sell multiple products, many as I can. The second column will include a bundle, okay? And I kind of joke about it a little bit. So the practical option, that you have no questions, Mr. Jones? Okay, great. The practical option, and the reason I call it the practical option is because it has all the items, all the programs or coverages that may occur or in my experience, have occurred during the course of ownership or lease. The one nice thing about the practical option is that there's a bundle program in there. It includes the key replacement, the tire and wheel, the paintless dent removal, the windshield coverage. So it's saving you a bit of money. It's like Flow, Flow girl. The bundle, all right? These would be your payments. And then the core option, and I'm not asking any questions at that point. I'm moving forward. The core option includes all the same features. Well, no, it doesn't. It only includes a vehicle service contract and guaranteed asset protection. So it's basically, when you get to the core option, you're kind of driving the customer back to the practical or key worry-free because it just has basic options. Now, do you have any questions about the options I just shared with you? These would be your payments. And the customer says, no, I don't have any questions. I'm really not that interested. And here's when you go to the shopping cart. This is really cool. One of the nice things about doing business here, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, is you have choices. You can make your own choices, just like Amazon. You can move those items that you're most interested in over to the shopping cart, and it will give you a payment detail in the shopping cart. So while I'm starting to print the rest of the paperwork, why don't you take a look at what you're most interested in and move it over the shopping cart. That may influence you to reconsider your decision not to enroll in the programs. And they simply move the service contract over, and they move the prepaid maintenance over. It shows a payment, and they close them on what they selected. If they don't want to go to the shopping cart, then we go into our closing. And the best way to close people is to simply ask them, after you give a presentation, give them what I call the free no. And that's nothing more than asking them, do you have any questions about the information I just shared with you? And the customer says, no, I don't have any questions, Gerry. And then you ask them which option works best for you. 70% of the time, I can guarantee they're going to say none. But 30% of the time, they're going to the shopping cart or they're going to buy something from you. So you have to be prepared for the 70% club, the people that say, nah, I'm really not that interested. And the best way to address their concern is to drive it to the money. You simply look at them and say, I get it. These options aren't for everybody. But I tell you what I found, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. I found that most people choose not to enroll in the programs because they don't see enough, and the word is enough value. They simply don't want to spend the extra money. Isn't that really how you feel? And the customer says, yeah, that's how I feel. And then you simply drive it to the money and ask them, if money weren't a concern of yours, which two options would you select? Put them in a shopping cart. Boom, boom. If money weren't a concern. And that's how you engage in conversation. That's how you eliminate the verbal vomit. And that's how you get customers to engage with you, and you interact with customers. And that's how you sell more in F&I. So you're probably asking a question, what is product prep worth? Well, let me share something with you, okay? My thoughts on product prep. I've been doing this now for 4 years. I've been in this business for a number of years, over 35 years, 40 years. And I got to tell you something. What we have on product prep, it's more than innovation. There's over 100 hours of video on that thing. That's got to be worth at least $3,000. You got bi-weekly live webinars with me and top F&I managers from all over the country. Every other week, every other Thursday, 10:30 in the morning. That's got to be worth $1,000 a month. That's just one service contract sale. F&I certification, we'll certify you. We'll even certify AFib, but not, that's a different thing. $2,500 easily. Job assistance, you join product prep, we'll get you a job because we know F&I managers all over the country. That's got to be worth $3,000 because a headhunter is going to ask you for 10% of your salary. You get to join a community group of F&I managers all over this country. That's invaluable. That's got to be worth over $10,000. But the one thing that's priceless is getting me 24/7. I'm just kidding. Just screwing around with you, man. But here's the deal. The regular subscription is $249 a month. We're giving a webinar special. For everybody attending this webinar, you get 20% off the regular subscription. So if you act now, it's $199. You get no contract. You cancel anytime. All you got to do is you go to that link and put the code SAVE20 at checkout. Get that 100 hours of F&I training. Get those bi-weekly webinars with me as the host and top F&I managers from all over the country. Be able to get certified, be able to get job assistance, and join the group of the most successful and best in class F&I managers in the country. And if you want to sell more in 24, whether you're a sales consultant, sales manager, an F&I manager, I feel like Jerry Lewis telethon. Sign up now.